Hello, everyone. Welcome to Real Dad Speak. Um, I met my guest today when he worked as an armed security officer. Prior to this job, he served in the U.S. Army. Thank you for your service. Um, he was single and serving away from home in another state. One day, he called his mom to share some good news, and she told him that he was a father. It was news to him, so he asked her lots of questions and started to investigate. My guest today is Isham Johnson, and we're going to talk about being, surprise fatherhood. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, let's start off with some basic questions. In what city did you grow up in?
Detroit, Michigan, on the east side.
Okay, where'd you go to school?
I went to many schools. Well, the school I graduated from was in Battle Creek. It was a military institution type school. That's where I graduated. But like far as like high school, I went to Southeastern. I went to Loyola, Cooley. Went to a lot of schools
Why so many schools?
because I was a troubled kid.
Oh,
I was a troubled kid.
okay. How'd you end up in a military school? Your mom or did somebody else suggest it?
So it was a family member whose son had went, and my mom thought it like because she thought it was a good idea, just with the structure, and it gave me a new outlook on things. And she made the suggestion, and I just went along with it.
Okay. Now,
And
How old were you when you went to the military school?
I was 16. I was
Okay.
16 years old.
All right. Do you have brothers and sisters?
I do. I got it's 8 of us biologically and 3 adoptively on my mom's side who raised me. But 2 of my brothers passed.
Okay. So, all right. So you say biologically.
Mm.
Okay. So your mom and dad have 8 kids, and somehow you were adopted, or
Well, like my biological mother, she had got into drugs real bad, and so the
okay.
system would take us, and like me and my 2 older brothers, we was the first 3 that got taken, and then after that, the rest of the siblings started getting taken out the home. But my oldest brother, my older brother, my auntie took him in,
Okay.
and then my mom, who raised me, she took me and my second oldest brother in.
Now, your adoptive mom, is she related, or was she just she didn't have any relationship to your family?
Not at all.
Okay. Did she have kids when she adopted you and your brother?
No, because all her kids was grown.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, that
So
was
it
like
was just you and your brother in the house when she adopted you guys.
exactly.
Okay. And then your biological mom, she still was having kids.
Yeah, and then yep, she was still having kids, and then she like passed away like in 2001 or 2001.
Okay. All right.
So
So you know your other siblings.
I know everybody. Talk to them, chill with them.
Okay.
We all close.
All right. So that your mom uh, got off to a bad start after she had you. What about your dad?
We all have different fathers. I never met mine.
Oh, okay. What about your grandparents? Were they in your life?
Yeah, my grandma Rita, she just passed like a couple of years ago. Like when I started getting in touch with my family, I met her, and I used to go see her and talk with her all the time.
So did you get to know your mother's sisters and brothers? You know your aunts and uncles now, cousins, and
Yep, I met my auntie Joyce. She had passed a couple of years ago too. Um, I met her. I got a chance to learn and get pictures and of my mom and stuff. And like the last sibling that my mom had, because it was only her and her brother, my uncle Shelvis. I talked to him every day, like we real close. Like me and him talk every day.
Okay.
That's her only brother.
Wow. So, who was the male figure that tried to help you become responsible as an adult male? Did you have a figure, a
I
coach or
did it.
somebody?
I did. It's my godfather. His name is Rick, and he was actually there in my life when my mama adopted us and was going through the process. So he
Okay.
been there since day one. I actually just got off the phone with him.
All right. So, what does he do for a living? Did you follow in his footsteps?
A little bit. Like he's a contractor and he does like mechanic work. So he's
Okay.
a contractor. He does paintings on buildings and draw like signs for stores and stuff.
Okay.
It's a lot of stores he did on the east side of Detroit. And he got me into one of like liking cars and want to work on cars. So
Okay.
that's another passion of mine.
All right. So, as I stated in your introduction, you went to the armed services and you were in the service for how many months?
I was
Be-
in for I was in altogether I was in for 8 years.
okay. So, tell me about the day that you found out that you had a child and what took place after that. You called your mom to tell her some good news, and what happened?
So nah, I just survived. Good 5 months of hell. I did it. I pushed through, uh, and I was real excited because it was the day that it was the day before we was leaving basic. And I called my mom. I'm like, I gotta tell her. I gotta tell her because I know because I like when I was in there, I wasn't talking to nobody. I wanted to stay focused and not miss home. So I finally called her like, hey, mom, guess what? I graduated. I made it through. I survived. She was happy. She's like, oh, good job. I'm so proud of you. This and that. And then she was like, why you didn't tell me you had a kid? And I said, who got a kid? I ain't got no kids. She said, oh yeah, I just found out you had a kid. I said, really? So I was like, well, I'll be home tomorrow, and I gotta get it figured out. So I had a whole day of my mind just racing, like what was going on. I'm telling my friend, like, I just found out I had a kid, man. I don't know if it's true or not. So it was a real shock to me. Because I'm sure somebody would have told me before I left, or have gotten my address and wrote me while I was in basic, like, hey, you got a kid, this and that. Nobody said anything, so it was a real shocker to me.
And you didn't have a girlfriend before you left, so who the person could be was a mystery so much more than you just having a kid. Did you think you had an older kid or you just didn't know?
I really didn't know because like I always told myself like two things: I was not gonna have no kid until I was married or until I got older, and I was only 22 at the time, so I didn't, I wasn't really that wasn't a focus of mine.
Wow.
But I know things happen, but it was a focus of mine. But as far as who it was, I didn't think of who it was at the time that who I found out it was.
Okay. All right. So, what happened after you got home? What
So
happened
when I,
with your investigation?
so soon as I got off the plane, um, I went home. I called my sister because she has a cousin that works for the DNA center.
Okay.
I called. I first what happened was I talked to my mom about it. I asked her like, who did she hear from? Where did she get the information? So she got the information from my sister-in-law. So I called my sister-in-law and I asked her. I said, hey, because who my son mother is her cousin.
Oh, okay.
So I called her. I said, hey, such and such got a kid. We got a kid together. She's like, yeah, she told me not to tell you. She changed her number. She said, don't give you her number. Don't do nothing. She don't want to have nothing to do with you, this and that and the third. I said but she was telling me this at the time of when she found out
Okay.
that she was pregnant.
Okay.
So I'm like, so now I don't, so I guess, so I'm like, now why is she coming to the forefront to let me know now of what's going on? So I had her reach out to her and tell her I want to get a DNA test. She agreed to it. And I was just trying to ask her questions, but she was like she just was standoffish and she was like hiding a lot of stuff. She was doing that because she didn't know who kid it was at the time, but she was hoping it was her other kid's father.
Okay.
So within that, we uh we went and did the DNA test, and she called me. Actually, I don't even know how she got my number, but she called me and let me know what the results was.
And how did you feel when you found out that it was confirmed?
I was devastated.
Wow.
I was devastated because because I didn't know nothing about her. I didn't know nothing about her. She was just a fling at the moment because of what I was going through with somebody else.
Okay.
So I was just devastated and heartbroken because I was like, I always said I want to have a kid through marriage and with somebody who I was going to be with. And actually, when she told me, I slept the whole day. Like it put me down. Like,
Wow.
and after that, everything just started going like downhill, and I started really learning what type of person she was.
So so you met her, was it like a one night stand, or I mean you never dated her, you never had a relationship with her at all, just something led to something else and
Never knew nothing about it. Like I was just chilling. Like I was with my sister-in-law. I was just chilling with her, and I was like, "Hey, let's go bowling." So we went out bowling. Her cousin was there, so I just started chopping up with her. While we was bowling, and that it was a 2 night stand actually. Oh yeah, I was a repeat offender, and I went back. But I so how it happened, I don't want to get like off topic with it, but like when we did do what we did, I did wear protection, but the protection wasn't new. Like it was something I just found in the house at the time, and just took a risk with it. But I didn't think nothing of it. I was young. I didn't care. Like as long as I did have it on when I did it, but not. It wasn't on when I got done. So I didn't think nothing of it though, because then I ain't see her after that, and I ain't hear nothing after that. So that's what I wasn't worried and then think like, oh, okay.
so when you found out it was her, did you go back and say, that's possible because that was about 9 months ago? Or did you think that, like, oh, yeah, or you
I
just
know
relied on the DNA?
I was still in doubts about it because, like I said, I was young at the time, and my mind was like, if somebody knew that they was pregnant, they would come and tell that person, and and we can get everything settled and worked on and figure everything out. But none of that happened. I didn't hear nothing. I didn't hear nothing until next year, like when I was graduating from basic training.
So how old was your son when you finally met him or finally found out that he was yours? How old was he?
He was 3 months, 3 or 4 months, because
So
he was born in September. He
okay.
was born in September of 2012, and I just left August 31st of 2012.
Oh wow.
So yeah, he was like 3 months when I met him.
Wow.
But
Okay.
even when I didn't. She would never tell me his name or anything. Like
When you
she hid.
met him,
Yeah,
she said this is your son, and you said, well, what's or you did you meet him I mean, you met him in person, right?
met him in person, held him in
And
there, and
and
she kept his name from me
so how long before you found out his name?
till the DNA came back.
Oh wow. Okay. And then she told you his name.
She told me his name because she kept saying, "Oh, I don't want to make anything official if it's not, and I don't want." So
So Does he have your name?
Not at all. He don't have no personal name,
First, last, or middle name? All right.
middle and last name.
So she just made up a name.
She gave him the name of close relations. So her other child name is Jalen. So she was trying to with his first name, trying to bounce it off of that, Jalen Jaden.
Okay.
But as far as his middle and last name, he's named after her other kid's father.
Wow. So when you heard this, did you want to change his name?
I did immediately.
And
I'm.
what happened?
She told me no. She said I have to prove to her that I'm gonna be a good father to him, and I have to do everything she wants me to do.
Okay. All right. So, uh, have you proved it by now?
I proved it to my son. I don't know if it's. I proved it to my son. Like when she told me that. So me being a new dad, I was trying to avoid the statistic rate of not being in my son like this and that, regardless of the situation. Because
Right.
one, he didn't ask to be here, and this is my bed, so I gotta lay in it.
Right.
So no matter what, I did everything I was supposed to do. But once she knew that she could manipulate me, she just kept going with it. She kept going with it. And even when we went to court, the child support court, the friend of the court, whatever, I did a DNA test with them for the records.
Okay.
And the lady who was handling us said, even told her, well, like, now that you know this is your son's father, are you willing to change his name? She said, no, I'm not willing to change it, or nor will I consider it. I just want him to pay his child support and take care of his son.
And you can't override her as far as changing his name, right?
No.
What?
So years later, she actually signed the papers. But my son was like 9 at the time, and I talked to him like I tried to, because I don't want to take it away from him of something that he already know. But like
Right.
when I have him, I tell him like, "Hey, you're a Johnson too," so understand that. Like, and I try to explain the situation on best a 9-year old could understand.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess when the other kid's father had stopped having like dealings with her, and he got engaged to whoever his fiance is now, the fiance told him to stop letting my son come over there. So now she calls me. It was like on her birthday or something. She called me, talking about she's willing to sign the papers, come over there so we can go over it, this and that. And I let her do it, but I was like, I'm not about to follow now because my son knows his name. And it would take him too long to try to adjust to writing his name. And then she said I can only change the last name.
Oh,
So it's
okay.
like, it's no point. Why would I just change his last name when he still has the name of another man for his middle and last name? And it made no sense.
Okay. Wow. So was your son devastated that he couldn't go over there with his brother? Or, I mean, how did
He was
he how did he express his feelings to you?
he told me the situation, which I don't believe a 9-year old should be doing, but he let me know, and he was sad about it, but he he under he was sad about it, but like his sisters and them stayed with him, so he always got his little sister that he's real close to.
Hmm.
So it doesn't bother him too much, but it's still a thing like where he was going somewhere with his siblings and now he can't go when they go and this and that. And, he
So
was,
his little sister is not the other man's child, so the two of them stay with
oh,
their mom.
that's his daughter. Like,
Oh,
him and her, they got like, one, two, three kids together.
okay.
So
So the other siblings go over to the other man's house and your son has to stay with mom?
now it's like that.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But I explained it to, and that's why, in the beginning I tried to talk to her, but she has this thing where it's her way or the highway, and I used to tell her like, don't like put too much attachment to my son and the other guy, because what if it doesn't, work out as, because she was having him call him dad and everything.
Oh, wow.
And now that's, but now look at the situation. Now he can't even go around them or this and that. So
Sad. That's devastating to your son. That was devastating, I'm sure. Wow. Did he live in a house with them? The other man? Did he live? Okay.
uh, no, he never stayed with him. He just go over there. He just go over there when his sisters went over there, or if I was at work and I couldn't get him in time, I had to go over there and grab him, all this and that after work or something. So
Okay. So he's learning to cope with accepting that, that's their dad and, his new
yeah,
wife.
yeah,
Wow. And he's how old when he learned? 9 years old when he had to adjust to this?
years old. Yeah.
Did it change his schoolwork, his pattern? Did he become angry? Did his
Cool.
behavior change a lot? Or did you talk to him so much that he could accept it and deal with it?
We talk every day, and we still talk every day to this day. We FaceTime, we talk. Even when I was getting him, he was staying with me. I let him know. I like I said, I try to explain to him in the best way he'll understand, and without putting too much into his head for him, to be not to understand. So, and he took it real cool. Only thing he didn't like, and that's where I came back to when I was talking to him about his name. Whereas I sat there and I talked to him one day and I was telling him like, hey, I'm about to change your last name. And he busts out in tears. And he's like, Dad, I don't want to change my last name. Can I just add your name onto my name and this and that? And I kept trying to understand like why is that so important to you? But it's something that he grew up on, and it's like in close relation to his sisters and them. So
They have the same last name, so right. He wants to
yeah.
feel like yeah, I get it. I get it.
And just to respect him as my child, and to not make him like have no like resentment or disdain towards me later on. I was like, okay, you know what? You can keep it. So when he get older, he'll be able to make the decision if he still want to keep the name or not. After he understand fully at the right age of what's really going on and what really happened. So that's when I just thought I'd wait.
So is he the oldest of the other kids or
He's the second youngest.
okay, so do they understand? Do they give him any, talk or they just love and accept him for their little brother?
Yeah, that's it. Cause altogether she got 7 kids.
Okay.
So he's the second youngest.
Okay. But they just accept him. Okay.
Yeah, they all like between him and siblings, they all got a great relationship. Like from the oldest to the youngest, they all got a great relationship. So I respect that. But
Good.
and they don't treat him no different. They all love him, care for him, and this and that.
That's
So
good. Yeah. It's just that new wife, his stepmom saying he can't come over. So does the new wife have kids?
I don't know. I don't know anything about that
Okay.
side. I just know what from what he. So I don't like. I don't. I'm pretty sure she might. I'm not sure. Because I know I do know that the other guy got other kids, other than the ones he got with my son's mom. So, but it's like and it made sense to me too. Like it made sense to me, so I wouldn't even be mad at her. Like, why would you have a child over here that doesn't have no relations to you when his dad is there in life?
Well, actually, your son does have relations to him because those other
His,
three kids, those are his
yeah,
sisters and brothers.
right. But to be
You Yeah,
going
he doesn't have any blood relation, but those are still his sisters and brothers.
exactly. I mean, like in the sense of where he's coming over there just to be over there when he can be with me, and but she wants to have her way and try to hurt me some type of way, and it's like, you know what I'm saying?
But kids don't deserve that. You know that.
Not at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't treat his siblings no different than I would treat him. You
Yeah.
know,
So if they want to come over when he comes over, they welcome, right?
by any means.
Okay. Yeah, I don't like that. I never have. You know, we don't call them step kids. We call them bonus when you marry or you get with a woman that already has kids. And
Right.
one of my guests made it clear. He said there are no steps in his house except the ones that come through the front door and that you take out the back door. These are his kids. You know,
Yes.
so I would just wish all men and women would understand that because kids, like you say, kids don't ask to come here,
Right.
and they should be treated in a manner that is not on them. It's
Right.
just they should just be treated like human beings, and showing love and affection,
Oh
emotionally,
yeah.
spiritually.
And,
But
and I let them know all the time. Like, look, I tell them straight up, like, I don't have the best relationship with your mom, but I don't have no hate or ill will towards her.
right,
And I don't speak bad about her. I don't talk down on her. I don't show no negative side. Even if she coming at me a certain way, I don't never let my son see that side.
right,
Cause
right.
Lord knows, but I would like just out of respect for him, and I don't, in his situation with me and his mom, I just want him to understand, like, look, no matter what, I'll do everything in my power to show you the love and respect. And I know how much he loves his mama, so I'm not about to. But she'll do it to me, but I would never like stoop to her level and play them games with her, because I'm on the defense of making sure my son understand me, respect me, and love me. And I'm pretty sure if I show some type of uh, disrespect towards his mama, he would look at me like, because he stands up for his mama.
Good.
I
Most
made
sons do. Most sons do.
made a comment one day, and then he tried to check me about it. I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, I see how this going.
So it's
Well,
never happened again, right?
I
Okay.
had to talk with him. I had to let him know something. So
Okay.
he a good kid though. He a good kid. And now he even started to look more like me. So our relationship over the years have been getting stronger and stronger. Like no matter what I'm doing, where I'm at, I make sure I talk to him every day. I make sure I see what he needs, even while I pay child support. I go the extra mile for him. You know,
Right. Yeah.
so
So, um, he's your child, and how does it make you feel being a father now that you know, how does it make you feel being a father?
it's now like when I first found out, like I said, I was devastated, and then it started changing me as a person. It helped me mature, and it helped me open up my eyes to a lot of things, and it helped me change my ways of like putting my all into something and not being selfish with this and that. Like it actually, even though I went through a lot of hell, just being his dad made me a better person overall. Like it changed me in many ways. Than one, it helped like focus me and make me like take a life a lot serious than what I was doing before. And I was like before I was living too freely and
What do you mean
reckless,
by that?
just doing unnecessary things, just like going out too much, drinking too much, trying to be with every person I can be with, just hang around the wrong people. But then and the best thing my mom did for me was she never put that help in to where I could be like, hey, can you watch him while I go do X, Y, and Z of my own fun time, you know?
Uh-huh.
And I respected her for that because like it helped me a lot. So me had to sit down, stay in the house, and focus on him at the times I had him. That was like the best for me.
Okay.
And it changed my perspective of mine a lot. And I was able to start learning how to save money more. What's more important to do it? What do I want to go to a club or do I want to take my son to the movies and enjoy that? And you know what I'm saying? And it was
Right.
like a big change for me. So I was like, it's great. His mama was putting me through hell, but the best thing she did do was, let me have a kid. So
Okay. So you say your relationship, you guys are close, y'all talk every day.
every
Um,
day,
do you show that affection to him? Like, do you say "I love you"? Do you kiss him? Do you hug him? Have you seen you cry? You know.
all the time. Like that's the first thing. Like every morning when I wake up, I send him a text. I tell, I say, hey man, Dad loves you. I want you to have a blessed and beautiful day. Strive for greatness. And then he'll call me and we'll talk. Then he'll FaceTime me. He'll tell me about his favorite cartoons or what he want, this and that. We'll make lists. I try to help him with his homework, if he got some. And like we talk every day. Like he'll probably be calling me in like next 2 hours.
Okay. All right. So when you do, I'm pretty sure you tell him no. So when you tell him no, is he allowed to ask why? Because when I was growing up, parents used to say, "Do X, Y, and Z," and we would say why, and they would say because I said so. So if your son asks you why, is he allowed to ask you why? Do you explain to him why he can't do certain things?
I really don't have a problem with him. I like it's only on some occasions, and that's rare that if I tell him to do something, he without even me have to raise my tone because I have never had to put my hand on myself. I did it one time. I whooped him one time. That was
For
all
what?
different. He was walking the dog and he let the dog leash go, and my dog ran up in somebody else's house while he was walking on. I was telling him what to do, and he just let it go. That just stood there, and I'm like, so I didn't like whoop him. I just like thumped him on his chest a little bit, like, why would you do that? Then calmed down, and I talked to him and I explained to him, and we was cool after that. But as far as me telling him no, I would like I don't have that problem like that, but I do. I have to explain to him to have him understand because like him coming from his mom house to my house, I have to reprogram him sometime in some ways. Because over there, I don't think it's as strict as I am, but he like catch himself like, oh, how come, Dad? Or and I explain it to him. But then I have to catch myself because I was like, all right, yeah, you've been back with your mama for a minute, and I'm pretty sure she just let you do whatever you know what I'm saying. So I explained it to him without getting mad or trying to whoop her or anything.
Okay. So did he ask why you guys didn't live together, or does he
No,
want to know why? No.
I, he hasn't asked me that, but I'm
Right.
pretty sure his mama had something to say about that. Uh,
All right. So
9 times out of 10. Well, when he get older though, I'm gonna explain it to him.
okay.
I'm definitely gonna let him know the story of it and see where he sit with it.
Okay. All
Because
right.
this is right to know. I
Right.
believe this is right to know the truth about why me and his mom don't have the relationship that other parents have, or why we was never ever cool, or because I just don't know her.
Okay.
I just don't know her. I still to this day don't know.
Okay.
Just her name.
All right. So he's what grade is he in now?
He's in the third grade.
Okay. Do you talk to him about when you have your conversations later on in the evening and stuff? Do you talk to him about bullying, handling arguments, getting good grades, stuff like that? Are you, you know,
That's how our conversation always start off. Like especially when he in school, I always ask him, "Hey, where's your homework?" Did you ask your teacher for extra credit if you missing on something? Like, cause I asked him like, what papers did you not do good on? And if you didn't do good on them, just ask your teacher for like some extra credit so it can make up your grade for that paper.
Okay.
And as far as the bullying, he doesn't. He like the school he in, he doesn't have to worry about that right now. But I tell him like, hey, between me and your mama, let one of us know,
Okay.
what's going on, or even if whatever guy she dating or if they get out of hand with you, let me know so I can talk to her and handle the situation with her. So I
Okay.
check on her every day because I don't know what goes on in the house because I don't talk to her.
What do you mean you
Because
don't talk to her?
if it's nothing like seriously regarding to my son, I don't communicate with her because
Okay.
her thing just be he needs this, he needs that.
Okay. That's the
So
extent of your conversation. Pay for this,
that's
pay for that. Okay.
or and I'll call her like, hey, have him ready or this and that. But now that he got his own phone, hey son, I talk to him.
Okay. All right. So you said you never wanted to become a father until you got older or got married. When you were in school, in high school, did you have any friends that became dads while they were in school?
I I knew some people. I
But
knew
they
some
weren't your
people.
close friends.
I was an introvert. I didn't really have because I have trust issues with a lot of people.
Oh,
So I don't like. It takes me a long time to become somebody's friend. Because I always got in the back of my mind like, what are they gonna try to do to me, or like what's their ulterior motive to be my friend and stuff? Because my loyalty is to the T with somebody, so I don't I don't have a lot of you know friends like besides people in my neighborhood or people I was in the military with, or
wow. And this stems from what in your childhood when you
my
were.
childhood, just my childhood. Because I never had too many friends growing up. Like um, even just from like middle school and all that. Like I had my two friends from elementary. I'm still cool with them. And then like middle school, I got a couple friends, but my friends are selective. But I never tried to interact with people, and so I was always a loner. I never wanted to deal with people. Like I'd be at home drawing and reading books while everybody else out trying to go to house parties or do this and that. Like I play football and basketball in the neighborhood, but as far as I go,
Okay.
because
All
like I
right.
said, I've been close with people.
Hmm. So after you learn you got this baby and stuff, were you thinking, how will I take care of a baby financially?
That was my first thing. That was the first thing. That was actually that was the very first thing because the way his mother started acting, like I said, I was a new dad. And she had this hold over me, and she used to, like I said, she told me this out of her own mouth. It's her way or the highway. So anything I didn't do that she wanted me to do, she would take my son. She wouldn't let me see him. She would block me, and I had to like wait days until she was ready to. All right, you need to come get your son. You can see your son. You know what I'm saying? She's just controlling the situation. So she was getting assistance, and at the time I didn't know how that went, but she'd be like, "Oh, he needs some formula." So I go out, and they was expensive. I'll go out and buy like 2, 3 cans. And somebody told me like, why you keep buying the formula when she get assisted? They give her 5 cans a month. But I don't know this. But people not knowing, I ain't trying to put too many people in my business. Like she taking my kid. Like if I said no to her or like, no, nah, you getting it, I'm blocked. So I held on to that for so long and it was always breaking me down because I just had the fear of I don't want this child not to like me. I don't want to be a statistic. I don't, want him growing up, oh, I think he don't have a dad because now she talking about this other guy gonna be his dad, whatever, whatever. So she,
Nobody ever told you that you could have went to court to get visitation and you never found that out?
when I went to, so I didn't trust the court because when I came home from basic training, they they had me come down to the court. So that's the first thing I did. I immediately did that. I went down there and I talked to the lady, and the lady, I was telling her like, hey, I'm in the military. I don't have no type of employment right now. Can I have a reasonable rate? And she wrote a number down and was like, well, first of all, she said to me, she said, thank you, Mr. Johnson, for coming in, because if you didn't, I was going to set your amount to whatever I wanted it to be. And I told her, like, well, I didn't know nothing about me even having a child or running, or that his mom was pregnant with him, or I didn't know nothing. I was in the dark. She's like, well, that doesn't matter. But I was gonna set your payment to whatever I wanted to be. I said, you can do that? I'm like, why would you do that if I didn't know? So she told me, she's like, does 368 sound good? I was like, I have no job right now to be paying that monthly like that. She's like, well, that sounds good to me. And she just marked it down on the paper. So I had no trust in that. After that, I had no trust in that. And the whole time she was siding with her. Like, I just felt like she was siding with her. Even when I told her the story of what was happening, I didn't get no just to it, but I didn't know how the system worked. Like, I could have pushed it to go all the way up to the judge and all that,
Yeah.
but I didn't know none of this. I'm trying to be a responsible person and handle my business myself, because I put myself in this situation, relationship, whatever. And that's how I went. So I never knew it. Now that I'm older and I know the ins and outs of it, I just try to pass information on to everybody else.
And because you didn't trust people, you didn't even tell your mom you want to be a man and handle it yourself. You didn't want your mom to come to your rescue.
I
Or
didn't want to. Like, I used to like try to talk to her about it, but I didn't ever want to bring her into it because it wasn't her situation. She didn't have nothing to do. Like, if I wasn't letting her know what I was doing before, I felt it wasn't her responsibility to be trying to stress herself out with the same stuff going through what I was going through.
good,
You know, just respectfully, you know. Because
right?
at that point, I was grown. And if I was acting grown before I was grown, then I should act grown now and handle my business.
Okay.
So that's how I looked at it. But yeah, I had no trust in a system. But I did find out a good program though for people
Okay.
that's on child support.
Mm-hmm.
And if people that's on child support, like, they help you with child support, they help you with setting up payments, they even help people with their arrears. It's called Friends of Fathers.
Okay.
And they have seminars monthly where you go, you will do a Zoom meeting, you'll talk to them, you'll set up a plan with them, and they fees don't even be that much. They might charge you like $200, and they'll handle your whole case file for you. They'll show you how to step by step to handle your court or get your visitation rights, get rid of your arrearages, even get full custody.
Wow.
You know, they're called friends of fathers. So I'll be contact, like, I went through them once. Well, I ain't go through them. I went through one of their meetings, and I'll be contacting them next month to set my stuff up to get my arrearages down.
Okay. So who told you about Friends of Fathers?
It's crazy is because my mama mentioned it one time,
Uh-huh.
but she was never saying the name right.
Oh, okay.
But it was somebody at the hospital that told me about it
Okay.
when I was working at DMC. And it
Okay.
was a lady, she came in there, she told me about him, like, she's saying that her son was going through something and they helped her son out. And she
Okay.
gave me all the information. I reached out and I talked to one of the guys. He told me what I need, this and that, and I just paid my little fee.
Okay.
So I'll be doing that. I'll be doing that next month.
Well, that's good. Right side to things. All right, we're gonna take a break right fast. Stay tuned. We will be right back.
If you or someone you know were surprised by fatherhood and are not sure what to do next, click on one of the links below to get more information about paternity, child support, and father's rights. Plan to be more than a father. Become a dad by taking an active role in your child's life.
All right, welcome back, Real Dad Speak. We're talking with Aisha Johnson about surprise fatherhood. Surprise fatherhood. So, you recently got engaged and you had another child. How does your older child like his new brother?
He loved him. He loved him already. He hasn't seen him yet face to face, but he's seen him on FaceTime a lot. And my fiance let him like call him so they can FaceTime so he could see him and all that. So, but I'm gonna get them all together very soon.
Okay. How did you prepare him to become an older brother?
Actually, he mentioned it to me because he called me. No, we was I had just took him out to like the movie. We was on our way to the house, and we was just sitting there talking. And he was like, "Dad, I want a, I want a brother." I said, "You got a brother?" He's like, "No, I want a brother from you, because I want to be a big brother on your side." I'm like, "Well, son, I ain't gonna make no promises, but definitely be one and be first." I was like, "What make you want to be?" He's like, "Because I just don't have no siblings on your side, so when I come be with you, I could have somebody I could teach and play with and be close with." I'm like, "All right, I respect it." And one I was really looking forward to, but
Okay. So, do you plan to have more kids?
no, that's it.
You're
That's
done.
it.
You sure you don't want a girl?
That's what I was hoping for at first, but nah. I take on my fiance's daughter,
Okay. All right.
so she like my little daughter, real close. That's
How
my
old is
little.
she?
I was like Layla. She's 4.
Okay. Hmm.
She's 4.
All right.
So
So, all right, we're getting down to what I call my final 5 questions or statements. So, I either ask you a question or I'll start off a sentence and ask you to finish it. So, my first one is what advice would you give a young man who's told he has a child he didn't know about?
I would tell him to go through the proper protocols of finding out uh who the child is, who like backstep. What I would tell him is like you said, if he
He
found
does,
out,
yeah, if he found like you did, you somebody call you and say, hey, you got a kid. And
try to
what,
find out who was that last person that he talked to. I mean, that he was with, and work out something with that child's mother before anything, like before anything. And if you have to, go down to the course yourself and set up something yourself
okay.
before.
So
Because it's worse. I found out it's worse if they have to come for you and find you and do all this and that. So
so DNA. Where do you think? I mean, and suppose now in your case, your baby was young. Suppose the kid is like 12. You still suggest that they try to go do DNA or try to figure out.
do the DNA, do the DNA, and build some type of relationship he can with the mother. Especially if she that type of person that she's willing to work with you and to avoid putting you on child support. If she not that type of person, definitely get the DNA and be in that child's life. Because it really doesn't matter what age you come in their life, as long as you come into their life and be there for them.
All right.
Is what I believe.
All right. Number 2, what advice would you give a new father who has to co-parent with someone he never had a relationship with?
Be there for the child and set some boundaries and standards with the mother. Set some boundaries and standards with the mother and make sure everything is 50-50. Everything had to be 50-50.
What do you mean by 50-50?
Like whatever, like it can't just be everything like for my situation where she was just trying to put everything off on me and made me I had to go 100% away. Like you have to have some foot in there where you are able to make decisions and do this and that. So whatever the decisions you make is agreeable to, and and it's every situation is compromisable, where it's not just falling on one person.
Okay. So when your son, number 3, when your son becomes of age to make babies, what advice will you offer him about sex and the potential to make a child before he's mentally, emotionally, and financially ready?
You know, it's crazy. I just had this talk with him.
What? He's
I
9,
did.
right?
Yeah, because I forgot what he asked me about something about his brother because he asked me was I gonna have another one,
Okay.
and I told him no, and then I told him I said, hey son, number one thing you want to look at is the outlook of your life. I said make sure you get everything that you want to do out the way, like enjoy your life, get everything you want to do out the way. You want to go to school, get all your schooling, whatever, set yourself up with a good job that's going to last long through your life and through your kids and grandkids' life. Do everything you want to do. Be financially stable. And then if you come to the point, make kids, make it with the woman that you know you are willing to be with the rest of your life. And that's exactly how I told him.
Okay.
I
At
told him,
9.
don't have multiple kids at all. I mean, multiple mothers.
Okay. All right.
Multiple.
All right. So number 4, what do you think is an important thing for your son to know about you as a man and as his dad?
Oh, no matter what, I'm gonna always be there. No matter what, no matter what, through any situation, he can call on me. I got his back no matter what. I don't care if it's whatever situation he feel like he can't talk to his mom or anybody else about, he can always come talk to me about anything. And I tell him this to this day, like, I don't care what happened or what you do or what you go through, call me and talk to me. We're gonna figure it out together. Just know you're never gonna be alone and
Beautiful.
never.
All right. Number 5, finish this statement. No matter what age you meet your child, I believe a father should blank.
Say it one more time.
No matter what age you meet your child, a father
Mhm.
should blank. So if you meet him at 18, if you meet him at 2, you meet him at 3, what should a father do in your opinion?
Grow with him.
Okay.
Grow with him. He should grow with, and that's just like mentally, emotionally, physically. Grow with him, no matter what. Grow with him. Like I don't, I don't believe that a child uh, shouldn't have his parents, especially if they're around and close by. I don't care like what relationship they have with the child's mother or whoever it is. Be with the child because how that child grows up and become the person he is to society can reflect on his upbringing from whether if it's just his mom or if it's from his dad or both parents. Like be with the child and grow with him, teach him.
Okay.
Because you could tell a single parent household child from a double household, you know. And I believe that, and like if a man has a chance and choice to be with a child, be with him, grow with him, teach him, learn him. Because we come into a day and age where it's about to be their world, and we can't do nothing but prepare them and help them survive and become the best people they can be to not only carry our legacy on, but you know, stepping stones and teaching their kids and this and that.
Gotcha. All right.
So,
Thank you, sir. Your information has been very informative, and I appreciate you coming on and sharing it with us.
oh
So,
yeah, I got a lot more stories.
well,
You know,
we'll try to get them in next time.
Yeah, I got different topics. Just let me know.
All righty, sir. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for listening. Real Dad Speak every Tuesday, 7 o'clock on YouTube or Spotify. Be sure to tune in and please subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much.